What if everything you've been trying to change about your life, your relationships, your finances, your opportunities, your luck, is actually impossible to shift until you do the one thing most people refuse to do? What if you've been trying to redecorate a house while the foundation is cracked, wondering why nothing seems to stick or feel authentic? Here's a truth that's going to challenge everything you think you know about transformation. You can't attract a new reality while clinging to the old self-image that created the reality you're trying to escape from. Most people spend years trying to fix their external circumstances while completely ignoring the internal identity that's magnetizing those circumstances in the first place. They're like someone standing in front of a mirror, frustrated with their reflection, trying to change what they see by wiping the glass instead of changing their posture. But what if you discovered that your struggles aren't evidence that life is working against you? They're simply proof that you're still operating from a version of yourself that was never designed to receive the abundance, love, and success you actually desire. The people who seem to effortlessly attract amazing opportunities, loving relationships, and financial flow aren't just lucky. They've learned to drop the old self-images that kept them small and consciously step into identities that naturally magnetize what they want. If you're ready to stop exhausting yourself trying to change your circumstances and finally address the root cause of why you keep attracting the same patterns, then this message is your wake-up call. Because today, you're going to discover exactly why your old self-image has been your biggest obstacle, and more importantly, how to finally let it go so you can step into the reality that's been waiting for you all along. There's this sneaky mirror in your life that's been showing you a version of yourself that you're honestly tired of hanging out with. It's like staring at an old photo that doesn't quite match who you feel you are inside anymore. The tricky part, this mirror isn't broken. It's reflecting the self-image you're still carrying around unconsciously, like an invisible tattoo that shapes your whole reality without you realizing it. Every experience, every little interaction you attract is a direct response to the energy your self-image radiates. Imagine it as a magnet. If you're holding on to a worn-out version of yourself, you're constantly pulling in familiar patterns, even if they're not what you want. It's like trying to attract fresh vibes while still wearing yesterday's socks. That might sound funny, but it's really about how deep subconscious identity shifts influence exactly what you pull into your life. The universe doesn't care about your conscious wishes. It responds to the frequency you're broadcasting from your core identity. When you're internally identified with struggle, limitation, or unworthiness, reality mirrors that back to you with mathematical precision. Your external world becomes a perfect reflection of your internal self-concept, creating experiences that confirm what you believe about yourself at the deepest level. The good news, this mirror effect isn't fixed. When you start actively working on self-image transformation with consistent, deliberate effort, you create a ripple that starts to pull a brand new reality toward you. It's like switching from black and white to full color. Suddenly, everything becomes brighter and more aligned with the you who's ready to thrive. This transformation isn't just wishful thinking, it's the foundation for everything that's about to shift. And speaking of shifts, there's something even more fascinating about how this magnetic quality of identity actually works. Think about your self-image like an electric charge that's broadcasting energy all around you, whether you're tuned in or not. This electric charge shapes every experience you attract, because reality is magnetized by identity. You might want something new, but if your self-image isn't upgraded, your energy is still set to recruit the old patterns. It's like having a radio that's stuck on a station you don't enjoy. No matter how much you wish for different music, you're only going to hear what matches your current frequency setting. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you are. It only responds to what you consistently identify with at the core level. It's kinda like trying to charge a smartphone with a damaged charger. It just won't happen efficiently until you fix the connection. Your subconscious identity shift is what repairs that charger, updating how you see yourself at a fundamental level. By strengthening your self-image, you're essentially upgrading your magnetic signal, which directly impacts the vibrational frequency you put out to the universe. This isn't just spiritual theory. It's about understanding that your nervous system and energy field are constantly communicating with your environment. When you walk into a room feeling confident and worthy, people respond differently than when you enter feeling insecure and apologetic. This is powerful because it means your reality isn't fixed or random. It's a fluid reflection of your internal state. So, to attract new reality into your experience, the main game changer is upgrading your self-image to match that desired experience. The better your self-image, the stronger the magnetic pull toward the life you want, making transformation feel not just possible, but inevitable. But here's where it gets tricky. There's a reason why this process can feel so challenging, and it has everything to do with how our minds are wired to prefer what feels familiar. It's wild how our subconscious brains get so hooked on what's familiar, even when that familiarity is actually holding us back. The comfort of the known, even if it's painful or limited, can feel safer than stepping into uncharted territory. It's like staying in a leaky boat because you know how to paddle, even though there's a luxury yacht waiting right beside you. Your subconscious doesn't care if something is good for you or not. It only cares about what feels predictable and manageable. This is why people often sabotage themselves right on the verge of breakthrough. Their internal security system kicks in to restore the familiar dysfunction that feels like home. Our subconscious identity was designed to keep us safe, and it does this by clinging tightly to old patterns and identities that it recognizes, even if those identities don't serve our highest potential anymore. This is why lots of us struggle with letting go of outdated self-images, even if they're the exact things causing us pain. Think about someone who's been in toxic relationships for years. They might complain about the drama, but there's something familiar about the chaos that their subconscious finds comforting. Breaking free from these patterns requires not just wanting change, but actually rewiring the deeper programming that defines what feels normal and safe. Understanding this preference for the familiar helps us realize why inner change isn't just about willpower. It's about reprogramming your subconscious identity to feel safe and excited about the new. The moment you can convince your subconscious that the new you is worth stepping into, you've cracked open the door to a whole new reality waiting for you to attract it. This process starts with recognizing what needs to be released, which brings us to one of the most important steps in this whole transformation journey. Detoxing your energetic identity is like a deep spring cleaning for your frequency, shedding old vibes that are cluttering your energy and no longer align with where you're headed. Think about it like clearing out junk in your attic. It's tough at first, especially when some items feel emotionally tied to your story, but clearing that space is necessary to make room for new treasures. Every limiting belief, every old wound, every story you tell yourself about why you can't have what you want, these are all frequencies that take up space in your energetic field. Until you consciously release them, they continue to broadcast and attract experiences that match their vibration. Releasing old frequencies involves consciously letting go of thoughts, beliefs, and emotional patterns that keep you stuck. This could mean cutting ties with people who no longer support your growth, saying no to habits that drain your energy, or simply deciding to stop playing roles that were assigned to you rather than chosen by you. For example, if you've always been the responsible one in your family, you might need to release that identity to step into being the successful one or the creative one. These shifts can feel uncomfortable because they challenge how others see you, but they're essential for your subconscious identity shift to take root. The key to an effective energetic detox is respect and gentleness, honoring the role those old frequencies played in your life, while acknowledging it's time for new ones. Rituals such as journaling about what you're releasing or using visualization to imagine these outdated energies dissolving can be powerful tools to actively shift your internal landscape. You might write letters to your old self, thanking them for their protection while explaining why you're ready to evolve. This process prepares the ground for planting new seeds, which is exactly where the real magic of transformation begins to happen. Resculpting yourself is an art that happens daily, where visualization meets powerful feeling techniques to anchor your desired reality deeply in your subconscious. Imagine your mind as a sculptor's studio. Each day you chip away limiting beliefs and mold new empowering shapes by vividly imagining who you want to be. This isn't just daydreaming. It's about creating such a vivid internal experience of your new identity that your nervous system begins to embody it as if it's already real. When you consistently visualize yourself as confident, abundant, and successful, your brain starts to wire new neural pathways that support this upgraded self-image. A practical daily technique is to spend at least 10 minutes immersing yourself in the sensory experience of your future life. Feel the clothes you're wearing, the energy of your space, the smiles on the faces of loved ones. This embodiment goes beyond simple visualization. It programs your subconscious identity shift by making those images and feelings as real as today's experiences. You might visualize checking your bank account and feeling excited instead of anxious, or imagine walking into a room and naturally commanding respect and attention. The key is to make it feel so real that your body responds as if it's actually happening. Books like Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain or Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza offer incredible insights and exercises to master this process. When combined with subtle physical cues, like adjusting your posture to match the confident version of yourself, you create a consistent loop that reinforces new identity patterns throughout your day. This daily practice becomes the bridge between where you are and where you're going, preparing your entire being to attract new reality experiences. But visualization is just the beginning. There's a deeper level of alignment that takes this work to quantum proportions. Quantum alignment happens when you shift so completely into your new identity that lack, limitation, and struggle literally can't find you anymore. You're vibrating at a frequency that's incompatible with those experiences. It's like tuning into a radio station that only plays abundance, success, and joy. The static of your old reality simply can't penetrate this new frequency you're broadcasting. This level of self-image transformation goes beyond hoping or wishing for change. It's about becoming so aligned with your desired reality that the universe has no choice but to deliver experiences that match your new energetic signature. When you achieve quantum alignment, you stop trying to attract what you want and start naturally magnetizing it because you are it at the identity level. Someone who's truly aligned with abundance doesn't chase money. Money flows to them because they embody the frequency of someone who naturally receives financial prosperity. Someone aligned with love doesn't desperately seek relationships. They attract loving connections because they radiate the energy of someone who knows they're worthy of deep connection. This shift happens when your self-image transformation is so complete that your old patterns of lack simply don't feel real anymore. The beautiful thing about quantum alignment is that it creates what feels like magic, but is actually just natural law in action. When you consistently operate from this aligned state, synchronicities increase, opportunities appear out of nowhere, and life starts flowing with an ease that surprises everyone, including yourself. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistency in choosing the thoughts, feelings, and actions of your upgraded identity until that becomes your new normal. And when you look at people who've made this shift successfully, you start to see patterns that prove this transformation is not only possible, but happening all around us. Real transformation stories are like roadmaps that show us what's possible when someone finally commits to dropping their old self-image and stepping into their power. Take Sarah, for instance. She spent years identifying as the broke artist who had to struggle for every opportunity. Her self-image was so tied to the suffering artist archetype that she unconsciously sabotaged every chance for financial success because it didn't match who she thought she was supposed to be. The moment she decided to embark on a serious subconscious identity shift, visualizing herself as a successful, abundant creative professional, everything changed. Within 6 months, she'd tripled her income and attracted clients who valued her work highly. Or consider Marcus, who'd been stuck in the identity of the guy who never gets lucky in love. After years of attracting unavailable partners and toxic relationships, he realized his self-image was broadcasting unworthiness and expecting abandonment. Through daily visualization and energetic identity work, he began to embody the frequency of someone who naturally attracts healthy, loving relationships. He stopped telling stories about his bad dating luck and started feeling into the reality of being deeply loved and appreciated. Within a year, he met his now wife, and she later told him she was drawn to his confidence and emotional availability, qualities that emerged from his transformed self-image. These aren't isolated incidents. They represent a pattern that emerges when people commit fully to self-image transformation. The key element in every success story is the willingness to completely let go of the old identity, even when it feels scary or unfamiliar. These individuals didn't just want change, they became change by consistently choosing thoughts, feelings, and actions that aligned with their desired reality until that new identity felt more natural than the old one. This process requires daily commitment, which brings us to perhaps the most important element of this entire transformation: The choice to wake up differently each day. Every morning presents you with a choice. Will you wake up as yesterday's version of yourself, or will you consciously step into the identity of who you're becoming? This daily choice is perhaps the most powerful spiritual practice you can engage in, because it's where transformation moves from theory into lived reality. Most people unconsciously slip back into their familiar identity patterns the moment they open their eyes, automatically engaging with the same thoughts, feelings, and expectations that created yesterday's experiences. But when you make the conscious choice to attract new reality by embodying a different version of yourself, you literally change the trajectory of your entire day. The challenge is to spend the first few minutes of each morning consciously connecting with your future self, the version of you who has already achieved what you desire. How do they feel when they wake up? What's their energy like? What thoughts naturally flow through their mind? As you tune into this frequency, you're not pretending or fantasizing. You're accessing a real aspect of yourself that exists in the quantum field of possibilities. This practice of choosing your identity each morning creates a compound effect over time, where each day builds upon the previous day's alignment until living as your upgraded self becomes your new normal. This isn't just a mental exercise, it's a spiritual commitment to showing up as the fullest expression of who you're meant to be. When you consistently choose to wake up as your future self, you're essentially voting for that reality with every moment of consciousness. The subconscious identity shift that results from this practice is profound, because you're not waiting for external circumstances to change before you embody your desired identity. You're claiming that identity now and trusting that reality will reorganize itself to match your new frequency. This daily choice becomes the foundation for everything else: the visualization, the energy work, the quantum alignment. All of it builds on this simple but revolutionary decision to be different today than you were yesterday. So here's my challenge for you, and I want you to feel this deep in your soul. What would your life look like if you finally had the courage to drop the old self-image that's been keeping you trapped in patterns you've outgrown? What would become possible if you stopped defending who you used to be and started embodying who you're meant to become? What if the only thing standing between you and the life of your dreams is your attachment to a version of yourself that's expired? I want to know, what's the first aspect of your old self-image you're ready to release today? What story about yourself are you finally willing to let go of so you can step into a reality that actually excites you? Share it in the comments below, because your breakthrough might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to finally give themselves permission to transform their own identity and attract the life they've always wanted. And listen, if something shifted inside you while watching this, if you felt that recognition that you've been unconsciously holding onto an identity that no longer serves you, then you absolutely cannot miss what's appearing on your screen right now, because I'm about to reveal the specific daily practices and quantum techniques that will help you anchor your new identity so powerfully that your old limitations literally won't be able to find you anymore. This is how you make transformation permanent instead of temporary. Don't let this moment of clarity slip back into old patterns. Your future self is depending on the identity choice you make right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because your journey of self-image transformation, mastering subconscious identity shifts, and learning to attract new reality is just beginning. And I have so much more profound wisdom to share with you about becoming the person who naturally magnetizes everything they desire.